So today I want to take a closer look at the iconic fashion of the hit 2000 show H2O Just Add Water. So I don't know about you, but now that summer is rolling around, I've just been extra nostalgic for this sort of like 2000 summer. And I feel like H2O definitely captures that Y2K vibe perfectly. This Y2K resurgence has been going on for about the past 5-ish years, I want to say, probably a little bit longer. And because of that 20-year fashion cycle, I have already started to see a little bit more late 2000s and 2010s trends come back. Interestingly enough, we know trend cycles are just moving faster thanks to social media, and we all live in like our own separate little corners of the internet. Our fashion is influenced through that. So, despite all of these trends going on at once, I still see that this sort of 2000s tropical core is alive and well. I also want to say that around maybe circa 2021, 2022, this sort of like coconut girl aesthetic and Key West kitten was like all over my For You page and definitely was affecting the trends of the time then. All the H2O mermaids were like the poster girls for that. And although I only watched the first 2 seasons growing up, I decided to include all 4 girls in this style analysis. All of the 3 girls wore that iconic locket. I kind of made a makeshift version for my styling videos on TikTok because I just didn't see myself wearing it outside of that video. And then in the 3rd season, I see that Bella's character has that like blue crystal gemstone. If you're looking to have a more screen accurate look, I'll definitely link those down below because I did find them all on Amazon. So as I skimmed through the show, and it's actually all available on YouTube for free, which is like so cool because I think only the first season's on Netflix for some reason, but all 3 are on YouTube. I'll also link that for you if you're interested. But as I was skimming it, I noticed that all the girls rewear the same pieces over and over. They'll just switch out like the bottoms or a different like layered cami underneath. And I noticed that Bella's character only had like a handful of outfits in her rotation. I don't know if that's just because it was one season, so it was more noticeable. I'm sure not intentional. It definitely gave the show a more authentic teenage vibe. All 4 girls have their own individual style. However, I did notice that all of them wear cargos at some point, as well as the layering camis. And I also noticed that obviously because this is set on the Golden Coast of Australia, they are wearing sandals and flip-flops, but they also wear these sort of sneaker flats. I think that's what I've seen them being called because again, I'm starting to see some of these trends come back. This sort of like cross between a sneaker and a ballet flat. It's not quite a ballet flat. The sole is a lot thicker and like harder. It's not as thin as like a ballet flat, although they do wear that in the show as well. And if you want shoes like theirs, I've seen like Chuck Taylor Converse bring them back recently, and I believe like Adidas, but also some more, I guess, vintage brands to look out for would be Supergas, Rocket Dog, and Keds. Okay, so enough of that. I'm going to go ahead and dive into each individual girl's lookbook, starting off with Cleo.
Come on, Cleo, you can't stay in there forever.
I feel like I see the most of Cleo. I think a lot of people are just like a fan of Phoebe Tonkin in general. I would say her style is that more stereotypical Y2K that we saw coming back, but it's still very wearable because I've noticed that a lot of the times when these trends come back, they come off as very cheap and costumey. If you want like true Y2K, I definitely recommend looking at like film and TV of the time or looking for catalogs like Delia's or whatever you can get your hands on from that time period to get the most accurate looks. I would say Cleo has the most variety in her wardrobe, not only with the color and like the style of pieces, but also the textures. Cleo's style is the most colorful and bold out of all the girls, in my opinion, and her color palette includes teal, magenta, various shades of purple, and coral. So if you're on a hunt for some Cleo styled pieces, I would say to look out for baby dolls, camis with like lace trim or sequins, flowy skirts, bootcut jeans, and like strappy dresses. Okay, so this first look is a color swap version of Cleo's. She has a purple cropped cardigan. I'm using a light pink, and I am just using a white tank top. And then for my skirt, this is actually a tube top from Brandy, and I noticed she wears this skirt a lot throughout the show. Okay, this next look is inspired by these 2 looks. So I felt like the baby doll top on the left matched more, at least color-wise, size, but then the layering cami and cargo color of the one on the right matches more to what I had in my closet. So it's a little bit of a mesh, and I personally love embroidered tops. I just thrifted one. I am obsessed with it. It just gives you like fairy vibes. And if you want like a fun summer craft, you can totally like upcycle any of like the pieces you have in your closet, just like embroider a few flowers or whatever you want. I personally didn't like 3/4 sleeve tops, but lately they've been growing on me because I just loved this baby doll that I thrifted. But if you want to match Cleo, I definitely would say to look out for a Henley top and a little bit of like a more utility cargo type skirt. This next one I want to say is maybe the closest recreation. It's just like a much more muted version. I am using a ballet wrap top that I just like tied into front. These little like shrugs were really popular in the 2000s. I've also seen short sleeve iterations as well. I almost got this one off of ThreadUp because it was just so similar to outfit I had pinned on Pinterest. Okay, so this next look is using that same baby doll top from earlier. It's actually an old pajama set from Victoria's Secret. I just used the top as like a going out top. If you want a closer match to Cleo's, I would say to look out for one with sequins, or you can also upcycle that yourself and like add sequins to any of your clothes. This last look is just like the perfect look for the beach because it has that little cover up. For the pareo or sarong that I'm using, that is actually an old dance piece that I had, and I just felt like the colors, you know, it was a color swap versions of Cleo, so I just decided to include it. Because it is summertime, I have seen a lot of those at the thrift store. Moving on to Rikki.
I'd like to say it was nice to meet you, but that would be a lie.
So I can't quite remember who was my favorite mermaid growing up. I think it would just like switch depending on how I was feeling that day. But I do remember having a sort of affinity to Rikki. Rikki is your typical 2000s kind of like angsty teen character, and I think her style is similar to that of Anna Coleman and Kat Stratford. I would say Ricky's is the easiest style to recreate. Her wardrobe really is truly like a capsule, and she reaches for that same color palette as well as the same style pieces. For example, cargos. She loves cargos, and she's worn like the capris, pants, shorts, skirts. She does it all, and she also does both like an army green and camo print. Her color palette, I would say, is a mix of army green, black, brown, and of course her signature color red. So much more muted than Cleo's, a lot more like earthy tones. To dress like Rikki, you're gonna want to look for any utility cargo bottoms and graphic tees, lots of black and red. She also layers a lot with those like short sleeve button downs and vests. She's often seen in capri slacks as well when she's not wearing her cargos, and she loves her low top Converse as well as those sneaker flats I was mentioning earlier. First look is very Kat Stratford. I know she wore almost like an exact outfit to this, just with like platform sandals. Rikki is wearing those sneaker flats again, and I like the ones that she has because it has that like rainbow bow detailing on it. This next look is very classic Rikki. She has that bright red cami and then the white button down. Mine is long sleeve, so I did roll up the sleeves to try to match hers better, but those like short sleeve button downs are very in right now, so you can pretty much find them anywhere. Her cargo skirt is pleated and camo, and also has this cool little lace trim, so mine's a little different. And then I also did add a black lace cami underneath. She does not layer in this particular look, but that is just something all the girls do throughout the show, so I took that creative liberty. Okay, this next look also features those cargo pants, and she has a red Henley. Mine is not a Henley top, but it is hooded, and it is a bit more maroon, but you get the gist. So same cargo pants. Once more, like I said, it really is like a capsule wardrobe. She is wearing a brown vest over that white fitted blouse, and if you look closely, you can see she has that red pink underneath for that pop of color. This next look, I couldn't really tell if it was supposed to be black or navy blue, but she does wear blue throughout the show. So all of these color palettes are just like their general scope, but they're not like married to that. They wear like different colors outside of that. But again, you can see that red cami popping through for that extra pop of color. And she's wearing cargo shorts. This last look is from a full moon episode, I believe, and she's wearing a dark gray and black striped long sleeve with a cargo skirt. Next up, we have Emma.
You seem a bit tense. I'm not tense. You're grinding your teeth. It's called a smile, Rikki.
And much like Rikki, she doesn't stray too far from her color palette, which consists of white, various shades of blue, and yellow. hardly ever goes without wearing blue. That's definitely her signature color. And if you want to recreate her preppy style, I would say to be on the lookout for polos, blue and white camis, as well as short sleeve button down blouses, khakis, and skirts. I would say she is the mermaid that wears the most capris throughout the show, and they're definitely like dressier pants. Some of my favorite outfits of hers is the powder blue like track pant look. I definitely am going to be on the lookout for those, as well as the pink sequin dress.
You look way too young to be Elaine's father's girlfriend.
I beg your pardon?
I guess you're just after the money, though.
So for this first Emma look, she is wearing a white tank with a blue button-down blouse over it, and she is wearing what looks like to be a dark gray blue utility skirt, but I'm just using a denim skirt to kind of try to match that vibe. For this next look, she's wearing another utility skirt but in white and a v-neck blue top. So this next look features that same white cami blue blouse combo from the first look, and I am wearing cargos with mine, but if you want to have a closer match to hers, again, look out for some khakis. So if you look closely, you can see that this is that same white top she wore in that first look. It just has these like kind of bedazzled flowers all throughout, and this is a great example of, again, the girls were wearing pieces throughout the show and just like switching up the vibe. And in the show, it appears that she's wearing these dark blue dress pants, but again, I'm wearing denim to kind of fake that look. For this last look, I had to include a polo look. So she's wearing that blue polo and then what looks like some beach pants, which is a summer must have. And the last girl is Bella. This is whom I had the least pieces in my closet. So if you have seen any of like my TikToks or I guess shorts, you maybe noticed that I did include all of the looks just for the interest of time, but I was able to squeeze in all 5 of Bella's looks because that's all I had. Due to the show's success, they decided to come back and film a season 3, but by then I believe Claire Holt was busy filming The Vampire Diaries, so that's why Indiana Evans joined the cast. Around this time, it is like 2009, 2010, so right at that cusp, and you're starting to see this sort of like fashion transition. And the 2010s is not my favorite decade of fashion, but just like every other decade, there's things that they did right and things that I just am not a fan of. I just did not resonate with her style the most. However, she does wear a lot of baby doll tops and she does wear yellow a lot. That is her signature color. And I would say both of those things are very trendy right now. Her color palette is very colorful, but it's almost more pastel compared to like Cleo. It consists of hot pink, lime green, teals, white, and of course yellow. I would say my 2 favorite Bella looks are this like pink striped dress, and then I really like this kind of like key lime pie baby doll top. I thought it was super cute. And then she also sports a blue gem necklace as opposed to those silver lockets. I'm not sure what the reason is. I stopped watching the show because I was just growing out of it at the time, and I don't really want to rewatch it now, but if you guys know why her necklace is different than the other girls, you can let me know. To dress like Bella Hartley, I would say to definitely look out for baby doll tops, strapless dresses, and denim skirts and shorts, and lots of yellow. Look number 1 actually features a baby doll top that I wore for the Cleo lookbook, and it's paired with some cargo shorts. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it seems like all the girls wear cargos at least once throughout the show. This next look is also using an old dance piece for the flower lay, and she just has a white tank top with a white maxi skirt. I love the white on white for summertime. So this next look is a blue baby doll paired with denim shorts. My top is actually a dress that I like tucked under to make this sort of baby doll top, as is this next look. She pairs the yellow baby doll top with a much lighter wash denim skirt than I did. And for the final outfit that she also happens to wear in the finale episode is this blue ruffled dress with some strappy sandals. Okay, so that concludes the styling video. If you want to have the most authentic and accurate Y2K style, definitely recommend thrifting. A lot of the pieces featured in this video were thrifted. I also wanted to mention that I am currently doing thrift bundles, so I'll keep the link for that down below. And then I'm also going to be adding my LTK where I added the full outfit details, where to find similar pieces as necessary. And yeah, that is the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.